Welcome to lesson 99, multiplying decimal numbers using zeros as placeholders. In lesson 98, we learned about multiplying decimals. In this one, we are adding zeros as placeholders in the product. Now, why we're going to have to do that is because if you see on the board, we have decimal numbers multiplying decimal numbers. And each of the decimal numbers are less than a whole, right? This one says 4/10 times 2 100ths. This one says 6 100ths times 4 tenths. Now when you multiply two numbers that each are less than a whole, you're going to get a very small number. So we're going to need to place zeros in our product to show just how small these numbers are. So let's multiply the same way we did in lesson 98. 6 100ths times 4 tenths has two counting numbers, 6 and 4. So you multiply those just like you normally would. Just ignore the decimals, ignore the zeros. The digit 4 times 6 is 24. The 4 goes down. If the 2 lands on a 0, it just slides off and drops to the bottom. Now, I'm done. There's no more counting numbers to multiply. However, there's decimals. Now, in the last lesson, I said you kind of count how many hops it takes. In other words, how many numbers are to the right of the decimal? This decimal has one number, two numbers, and then the second number has one number to the right of the decimal as well, or one hop for the decimal. So altogether, how many numbers are to the right of the decimal? 1, 2, 3. So therefore, you're going to have 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. 1, 2, 3. So my decimal would go way out here, but there's a number missing. What was the title of today's lesson? The objective, multiply decimals with zeros as placeholders. So if there is no tenths, there's a 2 100ths and 4 thousandths, you will place a 0 in place of that empty spot. So I'll put a 0 out here just to show that there's no hole. So 6 100ths times 4 tenths gets you 24 thousandths, a very small number. Over here we're going to practice it once again, but as you see, this number it's kind of laid sideways, and for some students they don't like that. I'm going to rewrite this, and whenever you do, you just want to place all the counting numbers all the way to the right as much as you can. So I'm going to leave 0.02 here, and I'm going to place 0.4 right under it so that the 2 and the 4 are lined up and I can multiply. Once again, think of yesterday's lesson or the previous lesson. You do not want to multiply anything else other than the counting numbers. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm done. I'm done with my multiplying. Now I have to place those decimals. So this one's moved over 1, 2, 3. There's 3 whole numbers to the right of the decimal. And so I will start here and move my decimal over 3 times as well. 1, 2, 3. Now this is where neatness really counts, because if you don't do the spaces right, you might forget how many numbers will be able to fit in that empty spot. Or you could just think there was 3 numbers to the right of the decimal here. 1, 2, 3. You need to have 3 numbers to the right of your decimal. 1, 2, 3. And you place zeros in that empty spot. And now we have 8 1,000ths, another very small number. Okay? If you need help with placing zeros as placeholders in multiplying decimal problems, then let me know and I'd be glad to help. Thank you very much.